If you are watching this, you're probably thinking about the reroll and wondering which cards to target in the global server of the Umamusume Pretty Derby. Chances are you already found some other tier list videos and heard about the two big ones, Fine Motion and Super Creek. I also think that these cards sit at the top tier list in the game. Now you might be tempted to get both Fine Motion and Super Creek fully, but depending on how many gems are given in the release, it is very unlikely that you can have both of them at the same time. So you'll need some insights on which one to pick. I'm going to approach this by the period these cards are used, meaning how long these cards stay relevant in your deck, but I am also throwing in a third option, which is Kitasan Black. By the end of this video, I hope that you'll have some ideas of which cards to aim for. To give you a bit of context, I'm a Korean server player, and when I started playing, I didn't change by motion or Super Creek. Instead, I went all in on Kitasan Black about a month later after the release. I re-rolled hundreds of times to get her fully. The reason why I went all in on Kitasan Black because at the time I was a free-to-play player, and with only about a year of future info, unlike the 3 or 4 years of foresight we have now, Kitasan Black felt like the must-have card. Super Creek and By Motion were great, but I wasn't sure how long they could be used at the time. So for those who are thinking about re-rolling on the global server, I want to speak about which of these three cards, Kitasan Black, By Motion, or Super Creek, you should prioritize. So let's cut to the chase. Kitasan Black is the top priority. After that, By Motion and Super Creek, they are hard to compare to each other. It depends on how you weight their strengths, but personally, I lean slightly towards to Super Creek. Now keep that in mind that if you choose to pick By Motion, that's perfectly fine. That's a good card as well. I'm just saying that By Motion and Super Creek are very good cards, but Kitasan Black is without a doubt the GOAT. Now a bit more of the explaining. When I say that why Super Creek feels better than By Motion, in the early stages, hitting stamina thresholds is often more critical than stacking intelligence. Super Creek not only provides excellent stamina stats, but also comes with a healing skill that is very useful across many races. If you do want to care about the intelligence stats, By Motion does give you that criteria. However, in the early stages of the game, building decent intel often be achieved by having two intel cards in your deck, but using strong 2 SR cards and not By Motion can be enough. So, about how long the cards are played. First, Kitasan Black remains relevant until the Speed El Condra Plaza cards drops, giving it a long period. It also has a universal speed skill, making it viable in almost any deck. Plus, since you rarely use just one speed card, most decks run 2 or more speed cards, Kitasan Black can secure a slot even when cards like Speed Marjensky or Speed Tachyon enter the meta. On the other hand, Super Creek is usable until the Sound of Earth stamina card appears, which is roughly the same time frame as Kitasan Black does. However, I did say its recovery skill is very useful in many conditions, but it isn't as universal compared to Kitasan, since Super Creek isn't used in short distance or mile races because lower stamina requirements. Therefore, Kitasan Black wins in usability. Back to my experience, starting with Kitasan Black was a game changer. Since it's a card you almost always include, having it in my deck gave me more flexibility when borrowing support cards. Without Kitasan Black, I'll have to be forced to borrow it every time, that limiting my deck building options. And that was my initial thought. In reality, my card pool was pretty shallow, since I hyper focused on Kitasan Black and didn't have very much else. It was a bit ironic. Great card, but kind of suffered on the early run. But still, I saved a ton of money and it worked out. So if you're planning to play free to play, here's my suggestion. Don't stress about re-rolling on the first month. Take your time to learn the game's flow and mechanics. When Kitasan Black banner drops, that's when you can consider re-rolling. It's a solid long-term strategy. But if you're set on re-rolling right at the launch and want to stick with it, I recommend grabbing Super Creek or By Motion as your option. If you have to pick one, I'll go with Super Creek for the regions I mentioned earlier. Or if you feel like picking By Motion, that's a decent option as well. We're just a few hours away from launch, and as someone playing on the Korean server, I'm not sure I'll be having access to the Steam version to showcase it right away. But rest assured, I'll be back with more tips after the release. If you have any questions or want to dive deeper into anything I covered, drop a comment on the below. I'll be happy to answer them. And thanks for watching, and I'll be see you in the next video.